Yay. Okay.
There we go.
All right, here we go. So this is the Epic Initiate interviews, and this is Michael. Michael, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Michael. I sometimes prefer to go by Mikey sometimes, but I know it gets confusing, especially with Mikey.
Can't. Yeah, with Mikey, Mikey's Mikey. So I had to call you Mike or Michael or
yeah.
And maybe we'll come up with a name for you eventually, a nickname. Pookie. We already have a Pookie. But
yeah. And I've met Mama through the other store, and it was actually close to the New Year's sale for them during 2018, 2019 when I found them. And then I ended up meeting you at the store, and I'm like, I need to follow you. Like, that was the first thing I said in my head. I'm like, I need to follow this person. And from then on, I kind of ended up Witchapalooza, ended up meeting Brandon, and from there, it just kind of helped me figure everything out from there.
See, I have to say, I know everybody is doesn't want to say the name of the other place stuff, and I won't because I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I was gonna say though is that I don't begrudge them for introducing all of us to each other, because that's how a lot of us found each other. So it's all right. Way to go through hell to get there, but okay. Describe your spiritual path from childhood to now, and what drew you to this path.
So I was raised strict Christian with my family, mainly because they always wanted me to go to youth group, Sunday school, Bible study, and I was like, this isn't me. Like, the whole time, I'm like, this isn't me. I don't like this. I don't want to be here. So any chance I was able to take of getting out of it, I would. And one way of me getting out of it was becoming the audio-visual person for the services and all that. So I just kind of sat back there behind a desk, just playing around with switches and computers.
Lights and cool.
I'm like, okay, just doing this is fun. And one thing that actually made me realize that I actually had a different path to go on was in the middle of one of the services, they were talking about weather and lightning, and I was nowhere near the switchboard at all. No one else was near it, and all of the lights in the church flickered, and I saw the switchboard moving, and I'm like, did I just do that? Then realized after kind of doing a little bit of talking with some other people that I knew was on pagan path as well, they're like, that could have just been you being like, okay, I need to get out of here. And from then on, I started going on walks because I used to live right next to the canal, and every time I went by the canal, I was always felt there, just happy in myself.
In nature. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Describe your unique current path and what practices you do that help to define that path.
So my current path, as I've just recently found out, just before Yule actually, during one of my meditations, I am currently a draconic healer, which I'm still learning more about, especially on the healer part. My whole path in general is more draconic, pagan, more as a, not so much a green witch, but more eclectic and everything, because I do a lot of it. And just learning about the healer aspect of it, especially working with the dragons themselves. Funny enough, when I found out about the announcement of the other store having their dragon finally in the store and all that, I saw a picture of it and I'm like, that's the dragon that we saw at Witchapalooza. And I know that's not the name that was given. And I was kind of had to laugh about it because I was like, that's my dragon.
Right? Yeah.
And just as I've been working with dragons, I've ended up running into a few deities. I know I have two currently, well, three. And I know I have a fourth one trying to call out to me, but I'm not too sure who. I know it's a female, but I don't know who. They haven't given me any hints yet.
That's all right. What challenges do you think you've experienced on your journey so far?
Basically a lot of disconnecting with me. I've noticed recently, especially a couple days ago, I've disconnected from the path a little bit, and I started getting yelled at by one of my dragons. And I also got yelled at by Apollo. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I know you need your offering. I'll do that. Here.
There you go. All right. So disconnecting. So your challenge is going to be to how to keep that connection.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like most of it's because of my ADHD self.
And that could be, absolutely. There's something to be said. And because I have ADD, I don't have the H part, but because I have ADD, don't be afraid to, ask me about stuff sometimes too. Because I do the same thing. Sometimes I'm a little too scattered to focus on what it is I need to be focused on. It's, And after 21 years, hopefully I have learned a few things to help focus a little better. Describe the deity work that you do, and what do you have, like practices, daily practices, weekly practices, monthly practices? You said you have 3 or maybe 3?
Yeah, 3 currently.
Who are they?
First one is Hecate. I know she's just the normal guide for me at the moment. She doesn't very much want me to do offerings for her or meditate with her, but I do when I feel like it. I have Loki. He just wants a candle. That's all he wants as of right now. And I have Apollo, who has a small silver platter with a candle and 2 bay leaves on it with some red wine. I would say it's more of a weekly than daily thing with them, especially with Apollo and Loki. Just kind of my meditations with them, or I'll do like some tarot readings. Like yesterday, I had one of my tarot decks literally fall down off of the top shelf towards me, and I'm like, okay,
here, do this. Yeah. Good. Do you have daily practices in general that help you stay connected?
I know one of my daily practices, which I've mentioned with Brandon, kind of talking to him a couple days ago, was the saying I think I should just start doing more of my newer deck that I just got, which is a Wild Unknown spirit deck or animal spirit deck. If I just pull that card and then read it from the book and then took it into my own interpretation of how that day is.
Good. I like it. Do you have a favorite tarot card?
I actually have 2 of them.
Okay.
Because they always pop up in every single reading that I've done. Well, almost every one of them. I have the Lovers, and I also have Strength. My 2 favorite ones.
Nice. Do you have a favorite tarot deck?
Currently, they're kind of hand in hand with each other. I have the Fountain Tarot, which is one I got from you. And I also have Tarot of the Abyss, which are my 2 favorite ones that like to be used a lot.
I like Fountain Tarot too. Don't get me wrong. It's Fountain for me is more of a spring deck. My decks are very seasonal, but do you have a stalker card that keeps showing up for you?
For that one would be either the Magician or the Lovers.
Nice. How many decks do you have?
I think maybe 9 or 10 currently, not including an Oracle deck.
Okay. Do you have a different form of divination method that you like to do?
I currently have couple of oracle decks, which is my newer one, my animal spirit deck. I know that one is actually what Apollo wants me to use because I know he's more oracle oriented.
Cool.
And I also have a Dragon Fae Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started up with a pair of Thousand Rods, which I feel is my way of divination towards Loki.
Interesting. Gets my head turning. Where the hell am I? Yep. Oh, are you able to practice openly with everyone that you know and your family, or are you in the broom closet with anyone?
I'm mostly open about everything right now. Just I know a few of my family members. A couple years ago, Christmas, my sister asked me, was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said, "Oh, I just want some crystals and some candle making stuff." And she'd kind of look at me like, "Why crystals?" And I kind of steered away from saying anything right away, and I just said, "Oh, it's just because I can add it into my candles that I make and all that." And after that year, I just kind of let it all kind of open up on Facebook and everything, where everyone now knows what I do and stuff I share. So
good. Do you connect with a specific element?
I would say I more connect with fire, as I know Leo is a fire sign. I also connect a lot with water, which I've noticed.
Do you find that you incorporate, well, probably with draconian, but do you find you incorporate those elements that you connect with in your personal practice?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. With especially when I light incense, sometimes I let the fire kind of like let it kind of burn it a little bit, so I know it gets going, and then there was a couple times where I've like just gone like this towards the flame, and it just died right down, and I'm like, I just did that.
Did you have any particular aha moment with your spirituality, or was it like a gradual process?
I would say it was like an aha moment, especially with a passing in my family with my uncle. We were at the funeral. I was at the funeral, and I was like maybe 10 or 11 at that point. And I saw like 3 or 4 different like shadow figures, which I could tell who they were, and they were all family members that were past ancestors. And all 4 of them at that point just looked up at me, smiled, and said thank you. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why did they say thank you? And I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's more of the fact that I acknowledged them at that point.
Right.
That's kind of what made me think like, okay, I need to start connecting with more spirit.
Nice. Do you have a particular crystal that you are called to that you work with most often?
Particularly, my favorite crystal that I know I like using that I don't use often is Mangano calcite. But I know I love working with lapis as well. In fact, I actually used to have a lapis pendulum that broke on me while I was using it. I'm like, okay, you're done.
Hmm. Do you have a favorite season or Sabbath?
I would say more falls and Samhain time is my favorite.
Gotcha. If you could see 5 and 10 years into the future of this circle, what role do you see yourself in? If you could step into any role you're interested in.
I was this kind of reminds me of like when I was talking with Brandon, I was like saying I kind of see myself wanting to be more of a high priest / healer or both. And yeah.
All right. staying in this 5 and 10 year future jumps, what would you like to see the circle doing for itself and the community at large?
I'm honestly not sure about that. I know definitely I would want the commune to be set up and running and all that.
Which, by the way, we didn't win Powerball. But
Right.
we tried. When it gets that big, I definitely
Yeah.
do a little bit because.
I would also see us probably with the community as being more open with everyone and doing more open rituals, especially open classes and all that.
Beautiful. Name one thing that you are currently interested in learning about in our circle.
I would say definitely with Mikey's path of Luciferianism, especially during that class during Witchapalooza. I was very interested in it. And that was actually when my first sigil kind of popped into my head, and I realized it was a sigil that was more related with Lucifer himself. And I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm interested.
Cool. And is there anything that you have learned as a beginner that you think you'd like to share with people who are just starting out and stuff that may help them on their path?
I would say mostly stay true to yourself. And if you're unsure about something, always ask.
I missed one. Sorry. Is there anything that you're interested in teaching or mentoring others in the circle?
Definitely want to start teaching more about the Draconic path, especially learning how to meditate with them or like their path in general. Like I know I'm still reading up more on it, especially trying to find more books, especially with the Draconic ritual book that I found. It's like I can't wait to buy that because it's like I want to go through it and read it and know and learn and actually be able to show that to other people.
Great. All righty. Anything else that we did cover that you'd like anyone to know?
No, I think that's about it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And